What's going on, guys? So today we're going to replace the trigger board in my Polarstar jacked G&G Mark 18. I've never replaced a Polarstar trigger board before, so we're gonna give it a shot. I figured I'd give you guys a walkthrough for it, kind of show you how it's done, because I don't know, I figured it's something that might be worth doing. So we're gonna start here by just removing the body pin. You may need a screwdriver, you may not. And the two receivers should just separate nice and easy. So we'll go ahead and we'll set the upper receiver over to the side. So now that we got the upper to the side, I'm just gonna push that in just so it's out of the way. Next we need to get the stock off. You're just gonna take this piece, pull it straight out, and it should, oh actually, before I mess up, I'm gonna make sure the FCU is out. Don't want to hurt that. So we took the FCU out, we'll set that to the side. Now we'll go ahead and take the stock right off. Bam. We'll set that guy to the side too. Now we should end up here. So next, I think we'll take the rest of the body pins out, which is right here, this guy right here, and then this guy right there. So hopefully, if you've put this gun together before, I mean this one of course is going to come out this way. We'll set that to the side. But then this little pin, it's easiest if you have it come out the same way, and I'll show you guys what I mean in just a second. Alright, well on this pin there's grooves where you can't force it through the body, so just make sure those grooves are, you know, the last thing to go in when you put it in. It's easier if you have all the pins coming out the same way, just so you aren't trying to like force it through and you're not really quite sure if that's the way it's supposed to go. So next we're going to take out the mag release. This one's just a simple Phillips head screwdriver, which are the ones I prefer. Take that guy out. And we're going to get the grip off. You just need a Phillips head screwdriver to get down into the grip. And then the last thing is just get the buffer tube off. You need a pretty long screwdriver for the buffer tubes. I usually just take one of these screwdrivers that can take bits and then put an extension with a Phillips. I mean, that might be a little too long. We'll see if just this guy works. Now the gearbox should pop right out. I have a speed trigger, so that might kind of impede some things. Make sure the wires get through, set that to the side. And now we're into the gearbox. So this is where it gets fun. So G&G gearboxes are weird. The screws are all kind of on like the driver's side of the gearbox versus the passenger side like most gearboxes. Most of the time when you work on a gearbox you're looking at it like this. G&G's, you're looking at it like this. So to save time, I'm actually going to use a drill to get all these screws out. I wouldn't advise putting them in with a drill. Taking them out with a drill is nice and easy. So we got all those out. Now we're going to take it, hold it, flip it over, and pop the gearbox up. So there we go. Here's what we're looking at so far. So what we are about to go into is this trigger board right here. So let me grab the new trigger board and I'll show you guys why we need to replace this. Actually, I'll take the trigger out without losing anything. There we go. And then we'll take the spring guide out. This is your safety right here. Don't lose that little spring. Now if you pick up the gearbox, this guy should come with it. And then we're actually going to slide this out. the selector plate. So the problem with my my trigger board is the little piece that gets pressed down when your selector plate slides over it. It broke off, so I had to get a new board, and we're installing it. So there we go. And there goes the new old board, my mistake. And now we need to unplug this stuff. I'm going to take the new trigger board. We can just get rid of the old one, because I mean it's broken, right? So we'll be super careful with the new one, because we don't want to break the little piece on the back. That guy. Let's plug these wires in. We'll drop this in delicately. And I'll take our screw. Screw that down. And now I think next we will put our selector plate back on. Super careful not to break that. And now we can flop the jack around and put the jack in. And then we'll put the safety back in. Just slide it up from underneath. And then I'll zoom it in so you guys can see. And then we'll drop the spring, that little guy. It's got a hook around like that. Around like that, so you can see the spring there is going around the back side. And then this only goes one way. If you need to scoot that spring, you can. Just like that. So basically the whole idea behind this is it should spring back like that, and if it doesn't, then you kind of did it wrong. So, alright, next let's just make sure the jack's in where it needs to be. Make sure all these wires and everything are where they need to be. Let's actually snake our harness under the air hose. Zoom that out a little bit. And we'll throw that under there. And now we'll get our spring guide in. And we're actually going to take the screw from our buffer tube and thread it into the spring guide a little bit. Just so we can kind of move it around as we're trying to get the top shell on. It'll make it easier to do that. So then we're going to get this trigger in. Being a speed trigger, we kind of got to work around some of the set screws there. Make sure everything fits right. Everything is in place. Make sure everything's working. Alright, and then what I like to do is get the top cover on, and then we're going to plug a battery in just to make sure everything's working. Alright. Alright. Everything seems in all good. Wiggle that around, make sure everything's solid. Make sure that stays shut until we can get a screw in. Putting these screws in, I wouldn't advise using a drill of any sort, just because you don't want to strip anything. So then what I like to do is just take my FCU, plug it in. Make sure we're going the right way here. And plug a battery in. Just to make sure we can hear the solenoid and make sure everything's working. So this should be safe. Nothing's moving. And then this should be semi. I don't know if you guys can hear it. I'm going to put it near the mic. And then this is full. So everything is working good. We're going to unplug this. Man, I'm having a hard time with plugs tonight. Unplug the FCU again. Set the FCU to the side again. And then we're going to drop this back in. Alright, and there we go. That is how we replace the trigger board on a Polarstar jack. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you learned something. I'm gonna be playing with this gun at a field this coming Saturday, so I'll definitely bring you guys a video of that. Now that the semester's over, I'll have a little more time to make videos for you guys, starting with this one. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this little tutorial, and I'll see you guys on Saturday.